Bent and Jaffa's orange grows. Microchips is us. iPhone cameras us. Taco salads us. Bodagabanos us. Olive Garden us. White Cloth for us. Sabra Hamas. Hasbara sus.
What up, though? And welcome to Bad Hasbara.
Ma shlomchem, everybody. Welcome to the world's most moral podcast.
Yes, we are so excited to be here with you all here.
I'm going to be busting out so much gratuitous Hebrew today. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
I can't help it. I get around these people, and I
whoa. What do you mean these people? What do you mean people? What do you mean these people?
I mean citizens and residents of a particular country that you and I spend a lot of time talking shit about, and acting like we don't give a shit about.
That's right.
And acting like we may even rather see the whole thing crumble, which we very well may.
I mean,
and acting like we're over it, and acting like they're just a big joke to us.
Yes.
But then I get around them, and I'm like, Manishma.
You're like, Makore.
Makore. It's like I'm walking around with like my Ulpan test, wanting them to grade it.
Yes.
Tell me how good my Hebrew is.
Yeah. This is going to be two in a row, two at least of the free podcasts in the free podcast feed in a row, in which we have some Israelis joining us all the way from the land of Palestine.
I think we're supposed to put Israelis in quotation marks. Israelis.
Well, I was gonna ask them what their preference is. Is not Israelis or Israelis. those are the options.
Those are the only options.
Yes. Very excited to have them on. But before we get there, let's first shout out to our producer Adam Levin on the ones and twos. No
one I'd rather shout out. I shout his name sometimes
when I'm
most
coming.
Inappropriate moments.
Okay. Yep. And also shout out to today's sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the Middle East Children's Alliance. So the Middle East Children's Alliance and its partners are providing emergency assistance to families who have fled their homes to seek shelter with relatives, as well as procuring emergency medical supplies for hospitals and clinics. You can donate to them by going to meccaforpeace.org, MECAFORPEACE.org.
So Mecca, not with two C's, but with one. Right. It's the acronym, not the...
It's the acronym. Yeah. In case you get confused there. If you're listening, it's one C. Mecca, as in the Middle East Children's Alliance. Please donate to them. And if you have any money left over, go to patreon.com/badhasbara, where you will get bonus
Tell them
episodes.
what they missed last week if they weren't Patreon members.
Oh my God. So last week we had, from the Blowback podcast, we had Noah Colwyn, who
he blew our back.
He blew our backs out. Yeah, he hit the back walls. Yada. Cum stuff. We had a great episode.
Porn brain joke here.
Yes. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you know what you're getting. This is it. This is the level of discourse you should expect. And in fact, anyone expecting any different, I don't know what to tell you. I occasionally do get
anyone expecting any different probably thinks a two-state solution is realistic.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. I'm like, just keep listening. If you can see past the thick braided ropes of cum, you will get to the ideology of the show, which is possibly more radical.
But yeah, we had Noah Coleman from the Blowback podcast on the Patreon feed.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of great guests.
That's right.
Yeah, we
Asa Winstanley.
That's right. Yeah. We had
Will Maneker from Choppa Trap House.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, hey, if you want to hear us more than once a week, occasionally, sometimes we try to do one bonus episode a week now. This is a new thing. But if you want to hear us more than once a week, go to patreon.com/badhasbara. And if you're like, I don't have any money, well, you can join for free. You don't get anything from that, but you do get updates, and maybe you see an episode you want, and maybe you decide, okay, I'll shell out a little bit for that. We are also now offering year memberships, so you can join for a year, then you
practice working on your commitment issues.
That's right. Exactly. Commit to us for 1 year, please. And then
we
if
can show you the world.
And if that doesn't work for you, you can always just give us 5 stars in a review on the Apple Podcast Store. Go to Apple Podcast Store, give us 5 stars review. Hit that. If you're on YouTube, hit that bell, subscribe that bell, hit bell, get notification, find new video.
Find new video. Be happy.
Be happy. New video, merch link in bio.
Not to be entitled, but I do feel like we deserve more YouTube subscribers than we have.
I
feel like there's some kind of discrepancy.
Well, so yes, I agree with you completely, but I will say that we have one of the rare YouTube channels where if you subscribe, it means you definitely watch, because our numbers are the same. Piggies mobilize, Adam says. But so like everyone who subscribes actually does watch, as opposed to most YouTube channels have like tons of subscribers and only a fraction of that is an actual like engaged base.
You're right.
And so, I mean, I don't know. Listen, I would like to have a nice cushion of like, let's call it 1 million. Let's call 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I think we're worthy of it. I think we deserve it. I think we do something so special, which is like we talk about a subject that other people talk about, but we say come. Who else does that?
And sometimes we let babies say it for us.
Yeah, that's right. I wish I still had that. Wait, I do.
Do not come. Do not come.
I want you to come.
Yeah.
You know, it's the gravitas of an Edward Said novel, with the puerile bathroom humor and cheap sonic jokes of an AM drive time, morning zoo radio show.
Yeah, it's Opie and Anthony and Edward.
Opie, Anthony, and Edward.
Yeah. Oh yes, I love it. It's Kevin and Bean in the morning. Our guest is Elon Pape.
How's it going, Elon?
Well, it's great. Happy to be here. So I almost called you Adam. Daniel.
What's my name? What's my name?
Daniel, mate, please tell me what's spinning.
Well, today the spin is I decided just to break out some old. Look, man, I have a soft spot for like old school Israeli music. I really do. There was a time in the early days of Israel, and I'm not saying this music is not problematic. It probably is. But I got some albums that my parents used to spin this shit for me when I was a kid.
I hope it's Jerusalem of Gold.
I do not. No, I don't have anything like post.
La
la la la la la la.
Kilo or some shit. I don't know.
Kinor, yeah, that's well done. No, you know more words than I do. No, this is pre-67, so this is pre-triumphalist, and that's what I like about it. This is some stuff, and like it feels like and our guests will have more context for me than I will, and they can tell me if I'm romanticizing this shit more than it should be. But there was a time when there was, in parallel with all the ethnic cleansing and dispossession of Palestinians and all that shit and laying the groundwork for it, there was also a sense of ingathering of different Jewish strands from all over the world. You know, the cultural Zionist project of a homeland where different kinds of music and dance and whatever.
Right.
Yes, there was a lot of myth building, and a lot of the dance was also fascist coded. But anyway, so I got this is just some records I got. Just thought, if I'm not going to play them today, when? So I've got Trio Arava, which is a really cool. Look at these dudes.
Let me see them. Oh hell yeah! Yo.
Yeah,
just like
Shimon and Garfunkel and some other guy. They got
Shimon and Garfunkel. That's great.
Look at this woman. Shoshana Damari sings the songs of Israel.
Damn, she's kind of hot too.
She is kind of hot. This is Moshiko, who is a Yemeni Israeli choreographer.
Yeah.
Who we used to dance to some of his stuff at Zionist summer camp. There's some great Arabic and Yemeni music on here, Ladino music. Speaking of Ladino, the Parvarim. This is my absolute favorite Judeo-Espanol song. The Iberian Peninsula. You know, and you'll see some stuff in Hebrew, but again, just this era of a kind of cultural renaissance happening that has some real beauty to it and real craft and great voices and great harmonies and
anything where
it's Sephardic music,
when
being generated in the Holy Land.
hearing Jewish songs in Ladino or hearing them in Yiddish, for me the will always feel like a different thing.
Yes.
And it's because I don't think I was as I was not a camp counselor at an explicitly Zionist Jewish camp. It was for me, some things are Zionist, some things are just cool and Jewish. And that's it sucks that everything is now some sort of like Zionist monoculture where now, like, even to learn Yiddish, if you're not from Orthodox, like Hasidic community, is considered like an act of like anti-Zionist defiance. I've seen a lot with anti-Zionist Jews where they're like, I'm learning fucking Yiddish because I don't want to learn fucking Hebrew. And I'm like, that kind of rules. In fact, a Hebrew school where you learned just Yiddish would be so sick.
There was a school like that in Vancouver when I was growing up. They still exist, the Peretz Center for Jewish Secular Culture.
Ooh, I love that.
And it was explicitly about keeping Yiddish alive. Anyway, but there's a real difference between listening to this kind of music, at least the experience of it for me, and listening to like Israeli pop music. Starting in 1967 when it becomes very Americanized and very anyway, I'm not suggesting anyone goes out and listens to these records, but I have a soft spot for them, and it's a complicated experience I have. I feel like we have two perfect guests to talk about.
Two wonderful guests who are
no strangers to music themselves.
No strangers to music, no strangers to Jews. They are them. They've lived as them, and no strangers to podcasting either. They both have great YouTube channels, and they both do a podcast together. Although I am going to ask them about the name because I've heard a few different versions of it. But our guests are wonderful people who I'm so excited to share with you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. All right, here's me doing it. Elik Harpaz and Alon Nissan-Cohen.
Hey, pretty good.
How did I do?
That was excellent.
Yeah, was it? Good. Hell yeah.
Yes, 9 out of 10.
It actually occurs to me I should have pulled out my Indigo Girls self-titled album because there's a song called Land of Canaan. And you call yourself the Hebrew Canaanite.
That's right.
So that's right. Talk to us about how you guys situate yourselves and identify. Where the hell are you geographically? Who the hell are you nationally? What are we talking? What are we dealing with here?
Yeah.
The most moral settlers.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So
let's start to say some stuff. I think we're in Palestine. Sure. I think it's a correct statement that we are in Palestine. I think it's more correct than saying that we are in Israel. And I must say, Matt, that I'm at least slightly offended by what you said about us. You said the I word about us.
Oh,
and that is quite rude.
Oh yeah, my bad. I wanted to ask you if you guys prefer I call you Isnot-Raelis or Israelis. Red Sea pedestrians is what Adam is suggesting.
But we always start our podcast episode. We have two podcasts. One of them is called One State Solution. And this is over on my channel, The Hebrew Canaanite. And we always start our podcast with saying that we are anti-Zionists, even though it says Israel on our passport.
Nice.
This is just a statement of fact that it does say Israel on our passport.
You can't help that. You didn't invent that.
Yeah.
But being Israelis, I don't know.
Just sometimes I don't know how to describe myself so people understand, and I find myself say like, I'm an anti-Zionist Israeli because I don't know what to say. Like otherwise, how do you make it like, I don't know, like people don't know what I'm talking about. I'm Hebrew. So Alon calls himself Palestinian sometimes. I don't know.
So it's a process. It's a process that I'm going through.
Well, I guess what you're admitting to there is that if you're really going to take anti-Zionist seriously,
Yeah.
and have it be more than just a sentiment. Like, I don't like that it's this way, and I idly wish that it was different. If you're going to have it mean, which is fine if that's what you mean, it might well be what I mean by it. I don't know. But if you're going to have it mean something actionable and real and with stakes, and that requires you to give something up, then it means that your life and your work is in fact an active prayer for a day when there is no such thing as an Israeli.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're working for your own passport's obsolescence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you think how, like, I had a process to go through. Like, people think that like becoming anti-Zionist is like one thing and then that's it. But then, like, for example, accepting that one day I accepted that it will be Palestine, and that's the name. Like, I want to be an equal citizen in Palestine. But I think even just this thing, that name, for most Israelis, is like, already I'm a traitor. I want myself annihilation. I don't know, like, but.
So I want to get into your guys' history regarding this kind of transformation from being what I would say is like having the ideology of probably the majority of Israeli society to realizing that the majority of Israeli society is sick and wanting to have nothing to do with it, at least ideologically. How did that come about?
Who went first?
Yeah, who went first?
Who got there first?
Right. Yeah. And did you guys fight? Did you guys fight over it, and then you guys both radicalized yourself, or how did it go?
No, I think we met post radicalization.
You really
right?
helped my radicalization.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had a part in it, really, because when we met, you already defined yourself as an anti-Zionist.
Yeah, but as I said, like, I feel you always get a step farther, like saying I'm a Palestinian, for example. I would never think to say that. Like, I feel you're always a bit ahead of me. But maybe I even now don't think I would, like, something in me doesn't feel like I don't speak Arabic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Like, and I feel it's a bit cultural appropriation. And
Right.
But
we can meet in the middle. We can say you guys are both future Palestinians. Inshallah.
Maybe. Inshallah.
Yeah.
So
PIT is Palestinians in training.
Yeah.
That is true. I just started learning Arabic. Yesterday I had my first lesson.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm not gonna try anything out of fear of embarrassing myself even more than Matt embarrasses himself when
every time I do this podcast, trying to say anything in Hebrew.
Now, were you clear with your teacher that I'm trying to learn this so that I can speak the primary language of the future state I want to inhabit, as opposed to I want to learn this so that I can be a better interrogator?
I did say that there was like a get to know each other round, and I did say I'm a political activist, and as part of this I want to learn Arabic so that I can do the activism better. Beautiful. And I just want to say a few words about this Palestinian thing. Yeah. To me, my training is as a mathematician. Okay, and to me, logic is very important, and just correct use of language is very important. And if I say that this place is called Palestine, which I believe that it is called Palestine, I believe that the Zionist project is something that happened to this place called Palestine, that was called Palestine for millennia. Mm-hmm. And then something happened to this place. The Zionist project came and they created something on the land of Palestine called Israel. Right. And
let X equal desert blooming.
Yeah. This is how they presented it. This is how they presented it, but it's not what happened, I think. I think they created a disease here. And this disease is called Israel. So where was I born? I was born in Palestine. This is just implication, logical implication. What does that make me? It makes me Palestinian, or at the very least, it makes me from Palestine. This is just a fact. It's just the simple fact. And I think that Zionism complicates everything, like all forms of fascism. They complicate everything. They try to obfuscate reality, simple reality. And the simple reality is that this place is called Palestine. Therefore, I was born in Palestine. I'm from Palestine. Maybe that also means that I'm Palestinian. But this is something, yes, the cultural appropriation thing, calling myself Palestinian. In this system of Zionism, I have a privileged position. So there's more to talk about.
Right, of course.
But I think that this just basic truth is something that is undeniable.
Yeah, and I also think that there's something there, like, despite any kind of like cultural hangups on us, concepts like cultural appropriation or whatever, there's something there where, at least to me, it's like part of being Palestinian is also a willingness to be treated as one. And I think if, as an Israeli, or as a Palestinian in your case, like your stance of anti-Zionism, of open and loud anti-Zionism for both of you, is obviously you're not going to be treated as a Palestinian within Israel, but you're certainly not looked at favorably. And I want to get into how it's been for you guys in the last, let's say, year. But first, let me know how you grew up. Like, when did you start looking around you and being like, "Oh, wait, is this not normal?" And what was that like for you to come to this realization? We'll start with you, Elik.
Yeah, so it's a good question, and I never know exactly how to answer it, because I think like the seeds of doubt and were always there.
You said the word seeds, and this reminded me of maybe you can start from there.
That's a good, I because I grew up
Garinim, if you will.
Zraim. Because I was maybe I should tell about this.
Yes, tell about it. I think it's a good story.
Because, like, usually when people ask me, I tell that the most recent thing that happened in the last 2 years in my life is reading, like, Alon Nissan-Cohen's work, and especially, like, the ethnic cleansing of Palestine, and understanding, like, the depth of the issue, and understanding that I grew up in a liberal, like, leftist Zionist, and, in this worldview, it's like the conflict started in 1967, like, kind of. And then...
Yeah, Israel was going great, and then you had to go ruin a good thing by getting greedy.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Something like that. But, I remember I had a political... Like, I really adopted the worldview of my parents, and I also always argued in class with, like, right-wingers, and they would tell me, but you also live in stolen houses, and they were right.
Yeah.
And I always had like made up answers, like, but it was a war and they started and we didn't have a state back then, and
Zionist arguments, basically.
Yeah,
right, of course. Yeah, I love that as like part of liberal Zionism. Is like liberal Zionism is basically you get to have a little bit of like genocidal right-wing Zionism, but as a treat. Only when you're like feeling bad. It's like mostly you consider yourself like on a diet from fascism, but then occasionally you have a cheat
give
day.
us one ethnic cleansing.
Just one. Just a little bit of genocide before
if you
bed.
don't eat your me'ir, you can't have any kahana. How can you have any kahana if you don't eat your me'ir?
What did we
Whoops,
get
I meant
ourselves
golden
into?
me'ir. Shit, fuck, because fucking me'ir is kahana's first name.
No, I got it. I got it completely. Just
if
so
you don't
know.
eat your golda,
Yeah, if you don't eat your golda, how can you have your kahana? So then your transformation. What was it regarding the seeds? You guys mentioned the possibility of seeds.
So I was in school, it was when I was 14, and they did a program that is called Seeds of Peace, where they send like Israelis and Palestinians to some camp, like I think it was in the States, and it was supposed to be about peace, but
it's Zraim. right?
זרעים של שלום.
זרעים של שלום.
Doesn't that really mean sperm of peace? Isn't that? Aren't zra'im also sperm?
It was more
Also.
Come of peace. You see, it all comes back around to coming in this.
I know that
We
because
come in peace.
We come in peace.
we come in peace. Exactly.
So yeah, this is actually I believe this isn't the first time we've heard about this program where you go abroad with Palestinians and Israelis together, and it's supposed to be like this learn how to coexist type trip. And I forget which guest was talking about this, but someone called it as a part of the peace industrial complex. But
That was Noam Schuster Eliassi.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The coexistence industrial complex, even.
Yeah. So
Because she grew up in Neve Shalom, which her phone always autocorrects to Never Shalom, which she
Never Shalom. No peace, die. So tell me. So you were in the United States, or
no? I didn't. At the end, that's the thing. Even like the funny thing, they didn't accept me at the end because it had like many exams, and Israelis, when they do everything, they do it like. Everything is like army, and all the atmospheres were like accepting you for a high army unit, and they did this, conferences, different stages, and they always pump you with this like you're the elites of the elites, and and like
you're the best of the best.
Yeah, and but actually they want us to do is to learn how to do Hasbara, how to sell the Zionist narrative, and the reason I wasn't accepted, I remember it, that there was this, I passed the first round, and then the second round they brought some guy and he told us, you need to learn to market Israelism. Like you market Coca-Cola, you say like, what is the joy of life, what is there, I don't remember the
enjoy
apartheid.
I'm imagining like a Hasbara drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, like, your apologetics for war crimes are for shit, Lieutenant Corporal. Your shooting and crying leaves much to be desired.
So, as a part of this test, you failed the is willing to use
because
this.
I told him like I remember I didn't understand what's happened, but I told him like. You actually want us to lie? That's the thing. And then I got a letter after that I'm not accepted to that. But the good thing that came out of it, that I needed to learn the narrative, the Zionist narrative, because they made it very clear that if we want to get there, we need to learn this narrative pretty well and to be like kind of ambassadors. And I remember my father trained me, and my father is like an educator, and he's still like education professor, and he took the Palestinian side. And I remember like the first time he told me like, what does it mean you want to share? Like you come to my house and then you say, let's share half.
I mean, and he took it for the sake of training you, right? He was like, this is a mock trial. So he was your debate opponent.
The devil's advocate.
He was the devil's advocate, but I remember that I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there comes a point where you're like, if the devil sounds more moral, is he actually the devil?
And your father said the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he was a Zionist.
So maybe that was the seeds.
Seeds of doubt. Actually,
sperm of doubt.
They should change their sperm of doubt.
Sperm of doubt.
Interesting. So Alon, did I do it?
No. This is a 6 at best.
Okay.
Alon.
I love it. That it's a bit.
Did I do it good?
Like
did I do
I don't want people to
it's
get
very
confused.
easy. You don't have to go too far. Just reach into our North American, Ashkenazi, Jewish schnorrer stereotype.
Okay.
Right? Someone comes to you.
Okay.
They come to you. They're begging for something. What are they begging for? Usually, you're going to give it to them with interest. You're going to give it. You're going to charge them interest. A loan.
Oh,
you're going to give them a loan.
A loan.
That's an 8.
That's what we do. We give a loan.
Okay, alone. That's good. Not like I'm so alone, I'm so lonely.
No.
But alone.
Although you could feel alone when you are anti-Zionist in occupied Palestine.
Yeah, which is what makes, I think, your name perfect. Because I can only imagine what it's like. But before you felt alone, tell me, what was it like? When did you come to this realization where you were realized you were living in a society that had essentially succumbed to cult-like thinking of nationalism?
So I think on some level, I always knew. I understand that penis jokes are allowed. So
yep, encouraged.
I felt that something
Demanded,
was wrong
required.
the moment they cut a part of my penis off. I think.
Interesting.
So at 8 days old, and I want to just say something about this.
Please.
Every Jewish person in Israel, bar few people who are considered crazy and like weird, if they have a son at 8 days old, the parents give the son to a rabbi and a moel, a special kind of rabbi, and they tell the rabbi, please cut a piece of my son's penis off.
Yeah.
And not many people know this, but in certain cases, there is... can I say this on YouTube? I don't know.
Are you talking about Mitzitza Bepe?
Yes.
It sounds like we're about to go there. Are you talking about where they do the little and the yeah.
Let's leave it at that. Oh shit.
Let's leave it at
Adam is the real dirty one here.
Yeah, baby dick delicious. Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard about this. It is something that we obviously, United States also is we're big into circumcision on a completely secular level. It became popularized, by like I think by Kellogg at first.
I am zero surprised.
I don't get it.
How do you think they get the red into the red Fruit Loops?
The red is Jewish baby blood. No,
how come this thing survived? Like people who don't keep Shabbat, who don't give, it's
so I had a
people who aren't
about
even
this.
Jewish have it in the United States.
Actually, that's a good point, Elik. It's like, no, I like bacon too much. I'm going to eat that. Stopping one day a week from my busyness and using, I can't give up electricity one day a week.
Yeah,
I can't connect with God just for 24 hours out of the 7 days. I can't do that. Fasting on the one day of repentance a year. You're asking me to. Yeah, that's too much.
Here's what I'll do.
Here's what I'll do.
I'll get some of my dick cut off, and I'll do Hanukkah. Those are the things. Anything other than that is asking too much.
And do it to your
mutilate
son.
My boy.
To your son. This is
better than
thing.
daughter. Yeah.
Right.
Slightly better.
Slightly better. Yeah.
That's not a good sign, right? It doesn't mean much.
It's
a low bar. That's
but
what
why do you bring this up? Because there's a lot of anti-Semites in the world right now obsessing about Jewish religious practice and what's in the Talmud and what a weird fucking people we are, and that is the explanation for why Israel is such a fucked up place. And I find there's something a little bit pedantic about that at best. Like all religious traditions have their weirdness.
It is a bad start, though.
But I am asking you where you're going with it.
I'm going with it. The point is that secular Jews in Israel all do it, and it's not a choice to not do it. When you live in Israel, it's not really a choice to not do it.
Yeah.
And I think that this kind of thing is completely a cultish thing to do. It's like this thing where you show your commitment to the cult, and it's a kind of sunk cost fallacy that is being operated here. You already gave so much to the cult. You gave a part of your penis. Now, if the cult, if it's a cult, if it's something that's not correct, then you gave the part of your penis for nothing. So you gotta defend it now.
But Satmar Jews in William, but Satmar anti-Zionist Jews in Williamsburg are circumcising their boys too.
Right? Right, there are different. This is a different cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily related to Zionism. It's part of.
I can see a connection.
It's actually anti-Zionism. Come on, they're the true Israelis. The Zionists are the true anti-Zionists.
So
But I think you're saying that it's something in you is anti-conformist from birth. I think that's the thing about you.
Okay.
So this was 75% joke.
So
okay,
8-day-old
I got it.
Looks down at the bloodied, mutilated stump that was his perfectly God-created groin.
Yeah.
Looks at this and says, "What the fuck is this colonialism?
Yeah.
I don't think I want to be a part of this."
Yes.
Fast forward.
The point is that ever since I was young, I felt like I didn't really belong to this society. Maybe it has to do with my undiagnosed place on the spectrum. Maybe. But I always felt different. I always felt like people, I was looking at what people were doing and I was like, this is fucking weird.
Right.
And I never felt like when this looked weird to me, I never kept it inside. I always said it. And I got into a lot of arguments. I got into a lot of fights more and more as I grew up. And I think the culmination of this is me now just completely removing myself from this society.
I'd love to see your report cards. Mr. and Mrs. Nissan-Cohen, your son is disturbingly drawn to watermelon. He shows a great reluctance to steal other classmates' materials and claim them as his own. He refuses to occupy someone else's desk. This is complete antisocial behavior.
And also, we're checking his arithmetic homework, and every answer he just keeps writing, "Give me my dick skin back." So I'm starting to think you might be raising an anti-Semite here.
For every math answer, every answer is one state. That's the only.
Every solution.
That's the solution to the question.
All the solutions on his math homework.
So then I would say, like, after October 7th, when did you start doing
when did you start planning October 7th?
Yeah, when did you start planning it?
Daniel, please, we are in occupied Palestine. Don't get us to the. You're laughing, but I'm being serious now.
Yeah, no, I think
this is like dangerous now.
We can cut that if you want.
No. But I do want to say to people who are watching this, Elik and I don't know that we are safe. We don't know.
Yeah.
We're doing it anyway, and we're trying to take it in stride.
Yeah.
But we don't fucking know.
Yeah.
We're always like thinking, maybe this.
I'm always like, fuck it. It's like I'm thinking about it, and it's like, fuck it. It's too late. But like,
yeah. If they want us, they can get us now.
Yeah.
But
it's so. But was this something? When did you start speaking out as anti-Zionists publicly? Because one of the choices that you make is to do your podcast in English, right? So you're not. It's almost like a deliberate choice of you're no longer trying to talk to your own or exclusively to your own society. If you were doing it in Hebrew, it would just be for Israelis or for the handful of American Jews or Jews worldwide who know Hebrew, modern Hebrew. So, when did you make the active decision to be traitors to your country?
And if I could piggyback on that one, what's the difference between your Hebrew language content and your English language content? Like, what are you thinking of?
I'm a Zionist in Hebrew.
You exposed yourself now, Elik.
Yeah. Well, you have to trust that they don't know English.
No, because Alon, I've seen one video of yours where you're just fucking having a conniption fit in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And I think it was shortly after October 7th.
Yeah.
And just going hog wild in terms of just expressing how insane you're going, and you're just saying this shit. I mean, it's just a different vibe. So yeah, how do you guys? When did you guys start speaking out?
Was it
Why
post October
English?
7th?
And why, why was it
He
English?
did it.
And then what's the difference?
I can bet that he was almost the first one to talk in Israel about this shit. Like, and that's
like starting from October 7th.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't
So
know.
were you kind of primed and ready? Like it was just going to take something like that to spark you, or did you surprise yourself?
So let me tell a bit more about my process.
Yeah.
So I also grew up in a liberal Zionist family. Okay. So my father he was born in Drom Tel Aviv, in like southern Tel Aviv, in like a poor neighborhood to a poor family, and he. So this family was right-wing, and he grew up like right-wing, but then he changed his position. He became a liberal Zionist, okay? He voted for Meretz, basically.
Is that your Mizrahi side? Because I know you.
Yes, my Mizrahi side, yes. And my mother, she was like, let's say, apolitical, but also she voted for Meretz.
Meretz was the party of Shulamit Aloni and Yossi Sarid. And
yes,
those...
yes. I also voted for Meretz in my first vote when I was 18. It was for Meretz, but the next one I think was already for Hadash, which is like the communist Arab Jewish.
And they're also
party.
Zionists.
They're also Zionists. Yes,
right.
They're mildly Zionist, but they're Zionist.
Yeah.
But so I think that on some level I always felt that something was wrong, and I was always speaking out against it. Like when I remember, I also told this on your Instagram channel, Daniel, that when I was 13, there was like a mock election in my class, and a party called Da'am got 4 out of 120 seats, and this was my vote. I was the only one who even heard about this, but something about. I was 13, and something about their how do you call the tashdir bchirot? How do you call it in English?
Platform?
Like the ads that they do.
The ads for like
the campaign
political
ads.
parties.
Okay.
Yes. Something about their campaign ads, something about their song that I remember to this day. The music, Kuf Kol HaMatzpun. Something about it just charmed the 13-year-old Alon.
And it says like it's a very. I don't think you could ever see something like this today. They say like voice of conscience, and it's calling for soldiers to refuse.
Yes, to refuse.
Oh shit!
And it's like a workers' party. It's a socialist party. It's much more. It's as far to the left as you can go, and still get votes.
Isn't there already a workers' party? It's called Labor.
That's right. That's famously.
Yeah.
So
did you break?
I don't know. Should I
parents?
explain why I left?
So did you break from your parents, or both of you? Did you break from your parents where you were just like, hey, like what do they think of you? How's your family?
Wow, that's a good question. Like
So much to tell about this.
Yeah, because my parents, I feel like they learned to accept my views, and they're both accepting, both a bit in denial. Like I cannot. Like my father, I had a lot of issues with him, and now he wrote kind of article to Haaretz. It's also in English that he described Israel as the zone of interest.
Oh, yeah.
And that's so. And actually, so I don't know if I influenced him. He says that I did. It's not.
Was it published, Elik?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I think you can check it out.
I saw someone actually shared that with me. Like someone sent that to me, and I hadn't read it, but I was like, it was like coupled in a. There's been a few Haaretz articles and op-eds in which it would be like, okay, so maybe we are doing a genocide and stuff like that, like kind of like in that vein of just like sometimes
culminating in the owner being like, actually, yeah, they are freedom fighters.
Yeah, straight up.
And there was all this talk that Haaretz might get shut down, and I remember you guys did a stream where you were like, "Yeah, fucking do it." Let's
Yeah, you guys said sometimes I think that's a good thing. Just like get rid of the facade. And I was like, fuck yeah, these guys are great. I mean, I love that your parents kind of accepted you. It sounds like they have a gay son. That's what it sounds. That's what it's essentially. It's like when I came out as anti-Zionist to my.
It's even worse, I think it's kind of saying all your dreams, all your things. Like, think my father grew up in a kibbutz, and people don't know kibbutz is like same atmosphere as settlements in the West Bank today. Like the way they were brainwashed, the way it's like everything is for the state, everything like. It's such a collectivist mentality, so to expect my father to drop his Zionism completely is too much to ask, I feel.
Yeah.
But he accepts me, and they don't tell me, yeah, we don't accept you because you're anti-Zionist, and they shut the door. And it's a good thing because it's hard to find job when you're an anti-Zionist, so you need your parents' support.
That's crazy.
It seems to me that
and
people
relatable.
Like that, it seems to me that people like that are probably your parents have gone as far as they can go for now. And now they're going to wait to see what happens next. They would really like to think that you're not right. They would really love to think that you're wrong, that there's still some way to salvage something or go back in time. They're going to find out, of course, that it isn't. And you're only going to become more clearly correct as time moves on. But they can only go as far. But if they can meet you up to a certain point, then when the next set of contradictions come clashing around, then they're going to have a new choice to make. But they've already indicated to themselves, you know what, our son might know something we don't, and that sounds healthy to me.
And what about
that's an optimistic view on it.
Thank you for saying that. It's actually
it really helps. It genuinely helps to
that's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. But it strikes me.
Now he's backtracking.
We're backtracking.
Yeah. I don't want you to. I don't want.
We were feeling good for 1 second.
I don't want to get your hopes up here.
You should feel good. I think the possibilities are there. That's all I can say. What about you, Alon? What's your family situation like?
So it's complicated. Let me go back to the story. I remember distinctly that when I was I think 17, I don't remember. We can work out the years of the operations of the aggressions on Gaza. There was an aggression on Gaza, and I remember my father justifying this, and I was horrified. And I remember him telling me, "But they're shooting rockets at me. But they're shooting rockets at me. But they're shooting rockets at me." And I was still not anti-Zionist in the sense that I was still not in the position that the Palestinians are right, full stop. And I was just like, yes, and they look at it exactly the way that you look at it, and they say he's firing at me, so they will fire at you, and you are saying they are firing at me, so you will fire at them, and this will never stop. Yeah. So I don't know. I think also this position, like why don't liberal Zionists take this position?
Because they're not committed to the liberalism. They're not. Right.
Exactly.
They're not. They want the Zionism with a liberal sheen, not liberalism with some Zionist flavor. Because what you're talking about is where every child begins a kind of peace awareness. Oh, what about the other side? Aren't they people?
Yes.
Don't they know it's Christmas after all? Aren't everyone or the Russians love their children too, as Sting was saying.
Yeah.
Mitchell in the web,
yeah.
Are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies? Yes.
Are we the baddies?
I put
this
right.
But
like
you started with, are they
after
humans?
October 7th, like a week after October 7th, I wrote a post, and this was the picture on the post. Like, guys, you should look at this and consider this possibility. They haven't yet.
But I want also, it's just to jump in for a second, that I also remember that every time there was a war, all the people who called themselves leftists were justifying it again and again and again. And I also felt it as a child, what's going on here? Aren't we leftists? Aren't we? And because, the left-wing Zionist, it's always based on settlers' hatred. It's like, we are not like them. They are
Exactly.
so horrible. And then, like, why in the moment of truth we're exactly like them? What's going on here? Like, I always felt this.
Yeah, this is a thing about, I think, right-wing Zionism and settlers and whatnot, is they serve as this really convenient, like, scapegoat for the liberal Zionists, for, the, quote, left-wing, like the Tel Avivists or whatever, where it's just like, we're not like them. And if we can only just stop these bad people, then everything would be fine. And it never really includes the critique of the entire project that they participate in. And I think, the same can be said in the United States. If we're talking about our particular politics, it's always because the right wing is so disgusting, because the right wing is just so, I think, objectively awful. This allows sort of like the, centrists to point at something and say, well, we're not that. And we can be proud of, but then, you see, like, essentially the fundamental Zionism, the fundamental, like, settler colonialism or kind of chauvinism and nationalism is still there, and everything else is window dressing. It's the main thing. It's the baseline.
And they'll look at the war and they'll say, you see, this horrible thing is happening. Look at this position we're in. This is why once the war is over, we need to get back to Land for Peace or Oslo or whatever, so that this doesn't happen again. But as long as the war is going on, fuck yeah, kick their fucking asses.
And it seems to be such like a it's crazy how eager a lot of liberal Zionists are to make themselves useful idiots for the right-wing psychopaths, because they became useful idiots after the 7th, more so than ever, because they straight up were just like, now is the time for us to back Netanyahu, someone who I literally called a war criminal 2 days before the 7th. We should allow him to be the person controlling the war. And just, it's almost like they all, they call it sobering up, right? This is the big thing that I've been hearing. The idea of sobering up, and allowing for the right wing to control this entire ethnic cleansing.
Someone needs to do an Israeli AA sketch.
That's a great idea.
Maybe that someone should be an anti-Zionist comedian of some sort, but since none are here.
I'll find one somewhere. We need to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk more with y'all. But first, everyone, please stick around and listen to these wonderful ads. But don't go anywhere. You got to listen, but you can't go anywhere, because we will be right back. And we're back. This is Bad Hasbara, world's most moral podcast. I'm here with, of course, Daniel Mate, but also Elik and Alon, the two wonderful Jews. What was the name of that other podcast with the wait, Jews a slur?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet. Yeah, it was the Two Nice Jewish Boys podcast. It's your so you guys say there's a button you want to press, right? Isn't that? Just kidding.
They are the hosts of the One State Solution podcast and the Yalla podcast, which I was honored to be the very first ever guests on.
Yes. Daniel was so kind to be our first guest, and
that's crazy that I haven't been invited.
It was only downhill from there.
That's well, maybe it's because you forgot about another guy.
No, but actually we had only amazing guests.
Yes,
so
only amazing.
Don't downplay our other guests.
No, your guests are fantastic, and you guys.
I can think of another good one though.
Matt do you want to come and be a guest on our podcast Yalla and talk about your like process of becoming an anti-Zionist?
They want you to come.
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
absolutely. I mean, I guess if you're asking, I don't know, man. I didn't
I
expect
love
this.
how you described your Taglit
the Taglit
trip.
experience. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a lot of fun. Speaking of birthright, I want to talk about your own sort of reverse birthright, your birth wrong, if you will, going to anywhere outside of Israel and gaining some perspective there. I know, Elik, you were someone who lived outside of Israel for a while. Is that correct?
Not really. Like I lived
No?
as a kid. No, and I was now like a month and a half ago. I came back from like for a trip in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Which
We got to
was,
meet in New York.
Oh, I see.
Elik was on an extended trip of the U.S. and Elik was kind enough to open, be the opener, the musical opener act for an event that I hosted at a local cafe in Brooklyn, where we had an Israeli and Rotem and Osama their talk about their journey from enemies to solidarity allies, Israeli Jew and a Palestinian.
So if you guys,
Elik played the viola with a friend of his who played the wind instrument. It was incredible music. We're going to hear from that.
A good friend. Yeah.
So have you? How much time collectively have you guys spent outside of Israel? This is just if I'm to preface this question. I'm asking because one of the things I noticed when I did do my birthright trip was that there was a not insignificant amount of Israelis who were, with us. Obviously they do they give us some IDF soldiers to marry, and there was this general feeling, at least among a few of them, that they couldn't wait to get out, not of just the military, but out of Israel, just to experience the rest of the world, this feeling of claustrophobia. And I wonder if that is something that you think that you've experienced, or if you if you're like, no, I love it here.
Elik, I think you have a lot to say about this, right?
Please.
Yeah. I don't know. Now I pretty much feel like how much this country is a cage also for the Jewish people here,
Yes.
And when I was out, it really felt like freedom. I could wear watermelon shirt and sing about my songs. I have songs that I'm afraid to sing here, basically. And you talked about speaking in Hebrew, and I want to do it more and be more brave about it and sing my songs about. But I say stuff in my songs
אם אתה ירית בו, אתה ירית בו.
Yeah. I have a song that took off Facebook. It got censored because all the words, if it said אם אתה ירית בו, אתה ירית בו. If you shoot him, you shoot him. If you bomb him, you bomb him. That's all the words. Just how do you say
tautology?
Tautology,
Oh, tautology is just like if A, then A.
Yes.
Now, but tell me about that. What an interesting way to I'm a lyricist, and to construct a lyric around obvious things. That must
but it's not. That's the point.
But that's the thing inside of fascism,
right?
To say the obvious thing is to be subversive. So you're basically putting inescapable truisms in people's face, being like, you don't realize this, but when you go into the army and raid someone's home, you just raided someone's home.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
it's
cool.
And that got censored because somebody complained about me, and I thought it's really I thought about 1984,
yes.
2 plus 2 equals 4, and it's
But why is this so important?
You weren't even saying 2 plus 2 equals 4. You were saying 2 plus 2 equals 2 plus 2.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
It's even
But the point is that Zionists, they want to say, why are we doing what we are doing in Gaza? Because of Hamas. Everything because of Hamas, right?
Hamas,
Everything that was done by Israel in Gaza was actually done by Hamas. Even though we are shooting them, it's actually Hamas shooting them.
Yeah, they are shooting them. Yeah, exactly.
So when Elik says, when you shot him, you shot him, this undermines completely the Zionist narrative of what is going on here and what always has been. Golda Meir said, I wish those Arabs did not force us to kill their children. Right?
Yeah.
We can forgive them for killing our children. We can never forgive them for forcing us to kill their children.
Yes.
Which is like, yes. So when Elik says, when you shot him, this undermines the entire basis of the propaganda that justifies what is going on. So of course it's banned. Of course it's problematic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think about it, when you bomb people, you're not just beheading them, you're ripping them to shreds, right? You bury them, and they don't say we bury them alive. It's like, and
we neutralized the territory. All these euphemisms.
And after 7th of October, so many people said, no, we are not that cruel. When we kill, it's because we have to do it.
Right.
And the pilot is not calling. There was one story about like a Hamas guy who called in his parents and
said, "Oh, I killed this many Jews." And this is the big story they always tell.
As if Israeli soldiers don't do this kind of stuff, But
not only do they call their parents about it, but they also post on social media where they just like, look at this entire neighborhood I demolished.
Gantz's entire campaign, like a decade ago, was I remember this ad. He had in the corner, he had a counter for how many mechablim, terrorists, he killed, and it went up to 1,000 and over 1,000. This was taken off because it was in poor taste, even for Zionists back then. But he just ran on this. He was like,
what's the word for kosher butcher? Is it shochet? Is that the word?
Yeah, shochet.
Yeah. So that's it's a country that thinks of itself as like
as a kosher butcher.
But like everything we do is very, very clean and ritual, and the deaths were ordained and they were sanctified. It's sanctified brutality, is what it is.
Yeah. Which kind of goes back to the on the baby D, because it's almost just like, no, it's okay because it's religious, not to...
We killed them through the hole in the sheet. Adam.
Yes.
Adam is like...
Adam has the one-liners.
He got him. But so, sorry, continuing with what you're talking about, do you mean to say the freedom that you felt in the United States? Was there part of you that just said, "Ooh, land of the free, home of the brave"? It's time to make Aliyah to my true home.
That's the
Denver or something.
It's also not a very free place, I guess. But but there is a weird thing that I could go in. I was in DC and I did a concert in front of the Israeli embassy and
with Medea Benjamin, right? Weren't you there with Code Pink?
Yeah, and I was there in the Congress with Code Pink, and it was they're so sweet. I love them.
Yeah,
but it's kind of felt like the police, like they did call the police, but there's also this thing in DC that it's like, you kids can go play in the. In the yard, and we don't give a shit about you, but you can sing and wave your Palestine flags and
maybe if Netanyahu was in town or something like that, they'd really bring the crackdown.
Yeah, they did.
I fear we will be seeing more of that with the Trump administration, because he's someone who likes to use that to get all of his hogs boners riled up.
And speaking of that, I wanted to ask you guys, I forgot to ask at the beginning. Mm-hmm. After all these years of just nothing but antagonism and marginalization from the U.S. government, how does it feel to finally have America on your side?
Yeah.
With all of Trump's appointees. I mean, just really, finally, an American government that really has your back,
Yeah.
Really
no more anti-Semitism in D.C.
No more. Mike Huckabee won't even use the word occupation. It's Yehuda and Shomron.
Yeah,
Not,
that's
it's
right.
not the West Bank.
Yeah, he keeps talking about Yosh.
I genuinely think it's refreshing that these things are being said in a very clear way. I get
Trump
I
just
don't
elected.
know.
Trump just appointed a red heifer to be the Minister of Agriculture.
That's funny. I'm sorry. Go
you
ahead.
think it's? I'm sorry.
So I think it's like what we have here in occupied Palestine in the Zionist project, okay?
Right.
Where so we were talking about the liberal Zionists, and we were saying they're the exact same thing. The thing is that there is a system, and the system has two different faces. And the system is a system of supremacy. It's a system of oppression. It has two different faces. It has the overtly fascist face, and it has the nice face, the nice liberal face that is just as fascist in the same way and does the exact same things. And the thing is that this is how the system operates. It threatens you with the overtly fascist side, so that it can, coddle you with the covertly fascist side, which is liberals. And in some sense, I'm not saying that I'm happy that Trump got elected. We said on our podcast, we are very sad that Trump got elected, but we are not sad that Kamala Harris did not get elected.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because, and in some sense, it is better to have these things said in a very clear way, so that everything is out in the open. And when everything is out in the open, maybe we can start actually understanding what is going on here,
Right.
addressing what is going on here, facing it, and changing it for the better. Maybe.
And in the American context, I mean, in the Israeli context, there's no hope for this because there's no left. But here,
Right.
the election of Trump, especially after fucking 8 years of hyperbole about how he's Hitler and it's the new Reich and all this kind of shit. Okay, liberals, time to speak up. Time to speak up when Hegseth says this shit. Time to speak up when Huckabee pops off about the West Bank. Time to speak up when he takes this Miriam Adelson money and threatens universities with defunding them if they allow so-called, Hamas sympathizing or whatever. Like, it puts what I like about the situation, and there's not a lot that I like about it, but it puts the people who would be the so-called resistance in the uncomfortable and unenviable position of showing and proving.
Yeah,
and
they have
having
to choose now.
Yeah, and having to take up a position that I think is comes with actual stakes. Like this is not politically a safe thing to be an anti-Zionist. It's not safe to be a politician who criticizes Israel with their whole throat. And so, or with their whole chest, full-throated and with their whole chest.
It's not safe to deep throat your anti-Semitism.
It's not safe to get throated by anti-Zionism. But no, and I think, that is an interesting thing. It does put people in that position where, okay, well, at least you have one thing that makes it safe. It's something that Trump is for. Are you against it? And I think one of the things that if there's, like you said, any silver lining, it's is we can kind of see people put their cards on the table. And if you're going to continue this, liberal Zionist dance, then at least we can know that,
we see you doing the horror.
We see you doing the horror.
And I
we
hope
see you trying to grapevine your
way.
way around the truth.
Mm-hmm.
What's that, Elik?
No, that I hope that, like, regarding to Palestine, that people will understand that the two-state solution is not an option anymore, too.
Yes.
And that nobody is ever is not intending and ever really intending to do it.
Yeah.
And then some liberals will have to say, okay, if I have to choose between apartheid that is admits to be an apartheid, now I have to advocate full democracy. I don't think many of them are
yes,
going
I think
to do
like
it.
so few of them will actually choose this option. This is what we saw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this brings me back to what happened after October 7th here in occupied Palestine.
Yes.
Where I saw so many people lose their compassion. And I want to say something about compassion. I think compassion is in some sense a bad thing. don't cut this without the explanation. So compassion is something that comes out of a place of supremacy. It is the position of a master. I have compassion towards you, so I will generously and graciously give you your rights. Okay, but if you misbehave, like the Palestinians misbehaved on October 7th, I will lose my compassion. And if I lose my compassion, I can take away the rights that I so graciously gave to you. And this is exactly what so many people did right after October 7th. And I need to say this one time publicly. My therapist that I went to for 2.5 years at that point, she lost her. How do I know this expression so well? Because she was using it. She lost her compassion. I had a therapist that was vegan, that was for justice, that was for freedom for all, that was also, I thought, a leftist. When I told her that this is a cult, she agreed with me. And then on October 7th, this woman disappeared. And a zombie appeared instead of her.
Wow.
And I no longer have a therapist who helps me.
That's me in the cafe. That's me on Haaretz, losing my compassion. I'm writing this on the fly. We'll have it ready for next week.
R-E-M.
Resh Aleph Mem.
Resh Aleph Mem.
Losing my compassion.
Losing my compassion, yes.
But
I would challenge the idea that was compassion to begin with. It was sympathy.
Sympathy, pity is the way I would put it.
Because
this is a
compassion actually, the word
question.
compassion actually means feeling with.
Right.
Passion, right? Feeling, come with, or intend and with. And so once you feel with, then the only way you're going to lose your compassion is if you're shutting down your own capacity to feel. And I think that there's a lot of Israelis and liberal Zionists who have some thoughts and some sentiments about Palestinians, but they haven't required of them to go all the way and really feel with and to understand who are these people that we are sympathizing with, who are these people that we're willing to grant rights to or give some land back to, noblesse oblige, like you're saying, from that perspective of without me giving up my power. If you actually understood who you were dealing with, then you'd have to deal with how would they feel if they had been through what they have been through. How would I feel if I'd been in their shoes? And from there, I don't know that compassion is something you can permanently lose. You could get, I guess, on a day like October 7th or in a month like that, just like on September 11th, you could get shocked into a kind of, I can only
100%.
take care of my own feelings for a while.
Yes. But, and I actually think that for me, this is, the way I look at it is I see it as completely human for someone to be shocked out of, to be in a moment where they are like, I feel no compassion. I feel nothing but hatred. Because I think that is not an uncommon thing. I think it is a human thing to feel personally affronted. And even if you're the, oppressor in this, like people they don't live in, constantly within abstract systems, right? They only know what they know. They only feel what they feel. My issue has always been after after a month,
Does it come back?
Are you going to at some point examine those feelings and then maybe restate your issues? Are you going to at some point regrow compassion? And the issue I've had is it's not with people who immediately after October 7th felt this like lustful need for revenge. It's for people after November 7th who are just like,
will you hide
keep
me?
going?
Yeah.
To me, that's where it became going from human to like activated as a part of like cult-like mentality, like a Pavlovian response to feeling trauma of just a constant state of needing to constantly be put in a position in which you will feel still victimized, despite the fact that multiple October 7ths have happened subsequently, to
Multiple.
October 7th.
It's like 10, 20, 30, 100.
Right.
Like
One a day.
Yes, one a day. And so,
Kind
like,
of.
looking at that, that's when I am like, okay, you're on some mentally ill shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you'd rather find your safety in the fascist, nationalist, militarist, exclusionist, segregationist project than you would find safety in a more resilient but less consensus and less conformist way, which is to find safety in principles and in humanity and in your own heart, and in insights that are uncomfortable.
I think that's what really shocked me after, at least, it's talking my own personal experience, but was realizing, because I started talking to a lot of people, after maybe a few weeks after October 7th. First it was just checking in with people, and then it was having like long drawn out conversations with people. What shocked me was that after, a month of, absolute destruction and genocide, open genocide, that people in my life were still defending it, and any evidence of, well, these people are saying out loud they want to do ethnic cleansing was met with, well, yeah, but did you see that article about the Jew on campus who had to hide in the library? And you're just like, are they the same? Are those the same issues?
Maybe it's time to show them the article that.
Yes.
Please.
You saw the article that we sent you?
So you sent an article to us. Now, this is an article that is written in Hebrew.
Yes, I can do my best to translate it on the fly.
Yeah, can you explain to us what this article is about? First, give us sort of a.
What publication is it in?
So it's in a local publication of Haifa. We are now in the city Haifa. Mm-hmm. This is an occupied Palestinian city. Most Zionists would, if they hear me say this, they would get very upset. But this is just true. And in Haifa there is a university, a science university called the Technion. Okay, and there was a horrible, shocking event that happened on the Technion like a few days ago, and this is a report, like a follow-up report. In the Haifa local newspaper.
Anti-Semitism is getting even here.
Yes.
Even here.
Yes,
it's
even
very,
here we experience anti-Semitism.
And it looks like Michal Gruber is on the case.
Yes,
right.
She is on the case.
So
and the headline, let's read the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
The headline, an anti-Semitic writing in the faculty shocked the students. Who will pay the price? How would you say that?
Like who will be?
Who is at fault?
Who's going to take the weight? Yeah, who will
take the blame?
Who's to blame?
Who's to blame? Yes.
Who for the rain? Kids in the hall.
I think Elik, you can take the character.
There's a picture there. Hold on. There's a picture.
Right?
There's a picture of someone scrawled in English a sentence that.
Yes. This is the inscription that we are talking about. This is the criminal.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. So they listen to this podcast.
We should use that sometime as our punchline for the. I've never.
Palestine will be free. That's
Palestine.
good.
It's a good rhyme, man.
Shit, that works.
Students in the electrical engineering faculty at the Technion were amazed when they noticed that on one of the tables in the faculty was written the slogan, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." And then
someone scrawled it on a table, not even on a wall. Just kind of like,
table.
You're just kind of sitting there with your hand, you're kind of hiding. It's not like someone went up to a wall and graffiti'd it. They were just
they were bored in
class.
class.
They were bored in class.
Somebody wrote it. Okay.
I am an electrical engineering student. That fits. Says a student who requests not to reveal her name. It's dangerous out there, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to expose her to such dangers.
Now, the person who didn't want to reveal their name was someone who was complaining about reading the thing,
Yeah.
not the person who
We'll
wrote the
find
thing.
out, okay. Last Thursday at noon, me and a few other students from the faculty were looking for a place where we can study together. We have study facilities all around the faculty. This is a shared space with tables and computer. So fascinating. This is a place we always go where whenever we want to study together. We sit more or less in the same place.
Yes.
When we got to the space, it was completely empty. And we sat down at one of the three tables, not our usual table. Very interesting story. And then we saw that this sentence about a free Palestine written, and we were absolutely shocked.
Oh man, that must have been hard for them.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, what the hard thing is, they didn't go to their usual table.
Aren't we supposed to have just at least one safe place?
I know.
They have
yeah.
22 countries.
In the world.
They have
Yeah.
22 countries.
Yeah.
From the river to the sea, this chair was supposed to be free, and now I have to sit at the anti-Semite table. Yeah.
When we saw this, we were all shocked. We didn't really know what to do. We let the student union know. One of the people who were in charge of the compound, they told us that someone will come take care of the subject.
They treated it like a bomb threat. Everyone stay clear of it. Don't touch it. They cordoned off the area.
Yeah.
Or is it like, what is the name of that thing where if you have anything that has the name of God on it, you have to take it to get burned? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Like a religious mitzvah.
Yeah. You have to, you have to get a rabbi to burn it. And yeah.
Everyone has to put on special sunglasses.
Yeah.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it straight on.
Yeah. Sorry, we gotta apply white phosphorus to this desk real quick.
You have to bury the
You have to bury the
for a
table
year.
for a year. That's right.
So that it is reinfused with the ground of Israel, right?
That's right. Exactly.
land of Israel.
The soil.
I think you should just bomb the whole university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tainted
That's
now.
a-
It's lost.
Better safe than sorry. Bomb the whole university.
Yeah.
Someone wrote
Yeah.
something on a desk.
What actually happened was that some people came and told us that we should not desecrate the building. We just reported it. We would never write anything like this. What was most unbelievable is that they locked the study facility of the faculty. They told us it was collective punishment. But we really did not understand what we were supposed to be punished for. Even now, the compound is still closed and we have nowhere to go to study.
It's so unfair to do like collective punishment. It's like such a who does it to punish somebody for something somebody else did. It's such
I just don't
Just
see-
one terrorist there, and you shut down the entire space.
I just don't see how it's moral.
We expect the Technion to take clear action about what happened. No one spoke with us or announced anything about what happened. This bothers us greatly. We expect the Technion to make a clear statement about this that doesn't give any place to such scriptures. We try to understand why no one at the Technion, no one from the management or from the students, was notifying anything about this. It's very difficult to be kept in the dark about what the people who have power over you are going to do to you or to people you care about. It's very difficult, I think. And she is right. This student is absolutely.
It's got to be hard.
When there's just a set of sort of murky, almost martially applied regulations, and no one's explaining to you, what your rights are and your access to various places,
Right.
the ability to learn and fraternize in public is just taken away arbitrarily.
Yeah.
No one should ever have to feel that way.
Almost
if they're
no
Jewish.
one should
Almost
ever
no
have
one
to
should
feel
ever
like
go
that.
through that.
Almost pretty much everyone almost should never have to feel that. Literally only one group in the world should feel like that.
Every
or
day.
two. Every day.
Students who we spoke with told us that they feel like there is no point after they saw what happened with students who took the side of the atrocious videos from the 7th of October, who were not punished like they were supposed to be punished.
I love
That's
it.
why.
So that's them taking the side. So whoever wrote that on a desk is immediately.
I think she's talking about a different, even more severe case. Of
This is some capo shit. Like we went along, we snitched, we didn't do any of that shit. Those are, the people who expressed sympathy for Gaza never got punished, and now we're getting punished.
Yeah, look at us. What's wrong with us? Yeah, that's great.
But look at this. They feel like it's pointless. It's pointless. Okay, it's pointless because they know that the people who are in power don't really listen to them.
That's right.
They know that they don't have real power in the situation, and it's very, very difficult to be in this position. Disheartening, even.
Yeah.
This is a widespread phenomenon here at the Technion. It's a ridiculous situation where students cannot know that someone who is sitting next to them is thinking such a thing.
Dude, there's you know what? You guys are really good at startups. Someone should make some sort of Israeli technology where you could know who is Hamas.
Where you can know what everyone is thinking. We need to police their thoughts because their thoughts are dangerous.
Some thoughts are, for lack of a better word, crimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially now, when there are so many students who are serving in the reserve forces. They have it very hard. They are in a very hard situation. They need to serve in the reserves. It's difficult. It takes up a lot of their time and energy. They should not be wasting their precious energy being invested in doing what they are doing in Gaza and in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Only to come back.
Thinking who is a traitor, who is not a traitor. Yeah. Right? This should be an automatic process.
Yeah. It's like not the person need to think, maybe the person who sit next to me just came back from killing children, and this is not what they have to think, like it's the person that comes from doing that needs to worry.
I'm facial recognizing Elik now as someone who might. What do you mean, killing children? This is collateral damage, Elik.
Yeah.
Right.
What's a child to you?
I'm sorry. Maybe.
So we are all waiting for a response from the Technion, or at least that they will reopen the facility. There is no reason to punish us. We are innocent, she's saying.
I really feel for them.
Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, they have to share a space with people who, I mean, you just don't know what their ideology is. You know? That's fucking
You don't know they might want to free Palestine.
Yeah. Ugh. Can you imagine?
Those people. So here is the response of the Technion. The Technion looks at what was done with great severity. They think it's very severe. This has no place in our community. The subject was, moved to the security unit, and a complaint at the police department was filed, and the police came to investigate this event. This, I don't know, how would you call it?
Put the table in jail. Yeah,
that we should bury it underground for 7 years, and then afterwards it should serve its time in jail. This is a very severe case, and the police had to be called. And so the final line is optimistic. I would think the inscription was erased immediately, and the study facility is now back in operation.
I love that. Is it written in pencil? Everyone's just staring at it, screaming and crying, and someone's like, I got an eraser.
They called in Winston Wolfe from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Harvey Keitel. All right, gentlemen, do I understand that we have a table that's been inscribed upon, and Bonnie's coming home in 30 minutes? Is that correct? All right. Do you have any erasers, any soap?
Like, we're laughing at this, but I'm just thinking about, like,
it's very ominous.
Yeah.
Where we living, like, I just came to Alon today by train, like, like there's half soldiers, half of the train is soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
always.
I saw like a soldier sitting with his sniper rifle like on the floor.
Ugh. Yeah.
And it's like I'm thinking I'm speaking here and I'm like laughing and I want to cry,
You guys are how old? The two of you?
I'm 34.
You never ask a lady her age.
Yeah.
I'm 37.
All right,
Yeah.
so these soldiers are like a quarter your age. They're all 8 years old with their sniper rifles.
Yeah, and they're all
Yeah, and
It
major
sometimes
colonels.
feels
Yeah, they're
weird
all-
like that.
Major generals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
Admiral.
and it's also like I feel what people don't get is that like you have interaction with people, they're nice, and I think like, wow, if they saw what I'm talking about here, they will want to kill me, but they could be very nice when you talk to them, and it's kind of everything is being normalized in such a way that
It's a mindfuck. It's a complete mindfuck.
and
Every
it's-
single moment.
yeah, and in a way I feel that when the veil falls, so it's like it's kind of zero-sum game. Like when you're out of it, it's like, fuck, where am I? It's like
Yes.
crazy. And
It's
when
like the
you're-
Twilight Zone.
and when
it's
you're
so weird.
in it, it's like completely normal, and you don't really have a middle ground to stand on. It's like, okay, this is half normal,
This
right?
is why we
It's
call
like-
it a cult. This is why we call it a cult.
So-
because
so,
the
Elik,
people in it don't know that they're in it.
Right.
So Elik and Alon, like here, you've got my compassion circuit sparking. Like I know I want to make jokes at everything, but like
What
just said
can we do
you just-
that will
you
make
just
you
said-
lose your compassion?
you just said that it makes you want to cry, and I really feel for you. Like and I feel our kinship. We're related in some way, culturally and historically or whatever. What do you need from the rest of the world? What do people like you need? What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of?
How can we make
I have
more
a lot
use?
of thoughts about this. One
How
of
can
the
we
reasons.
how can we fertilize these sperms of peace?
Yes.
Not sperms of peace, sperms of truth. You guys are sperms of truth as far as I'm concerned. Fuck
Yeah.
peace,
Fuck peace.
equal rights and
You
justice.
know,
As Peter
If we can
Tosh
get
said.
if we can get truth, then I'm good for now. Peace eventually. Shit.
I don't like making it about us, and it's happening to like when
No,
I
of course,
think
of course.
about what people in Gaza are suffering or anyway, but like, yeah, but I guess everyone deserves some compassion, and we're trying. What do we need from the world?
So I want to say that for me, one of the reasons that I want people to listen to us is so that we can tell them what this area needs. I think that on a cosmic, karmatic level, even the fact that I was born here in Palestine as someone who is was born into this cult and knows it from the inside, I think we have a lot of thoughts about what can be done. Okay,
Right.
and I can throw out a few examples. Okay, so for example, I think that the military support for Israel needs to stop immediately, and I think it's very important for everyone all around the world, especially the Western world, especially Germany, and especially the US.
Yeah.
And please demand that the US stops supporting Israel, stops arming Israel. Demand that Germany stops supporting Israel, stops arming Israel.
Yeah.
Stop it. So I don't expect this to happen, even if many people demand it. But this is a start that everyone raises their voices and demands that this stops.
Yeah.
The Israel cannot continue existing as it is without the support of Western countries. So we are responsible for what is going on here, but other people are responsible for what is going on in their country. Please speak
right.
up for this. This is your responsibility as well, what is going on in Palestine.
But they're like, I think Daniel and Matt, they're already doing it. Like,
Okay.
he's asking
Yes.
what he can do.
No,
right?
but
No.
this is exactly
I
this is what
100%
we are.
agree. Yeah,
I'm asking
not-
for me. I'm asking for everyone who's listening.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
this is
we
what
need to speak about this more clearly, and I think we need to speak directly and frankly, and I think we need to demand very concrete things. Demand justice, demand the dismantlement of the Zionist project, demand a right of return for all Palestinians, demand that all this system of supremacy ceases to exist, and more generally, because we have to understand that the situation in Palestine will not change unless the situation in the world changes. We were talking. Elik, you want to say what you said, what you told me, this very pessimistic thing that you heard. You know what I'm talking about?
What I told you today that I heard from
Yes,
Jeff Halper.
yes.
Do you know Jeff Halper?
Yeah, how Israelis against house demolitions?
Yeah. And I heard that, wow, there is a really good channel of some German guy. I don't remember his name. I need to look out for it. He didn't.
Maybe you can add like an...
after, I don't know.
After.
I need to find it. Like he did interview with Jeff Halper, and Jeff Halper talked about how Israel is exporting so many like surveillance stuff to so many like dark regimes all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he said like these people, like you can do that there are so many huge network that needs like Israel that like BDS efforts like maybe cannot face that. You cannot compete with that, you know. And it's really, yeah, it's like a whole network that is not just happening in Israel. It's like, and there, I think many people feel that this Palestine issue is not just about Palestine.
It's central to people.
Yeah, and it's central because it symbolizes something that's about the whole global system. And I feel like everyone has like intuitions of what needs to change, but they don't know exactly. Like we say capitalism, we say imperialism, but what is the work that each one of us has to do in their own countries? Like it's a question. I don't know.
So I want to say something concrete about things that Elik and I have been doing. So, for example, maybe people saw our episode of Yalla, the podcast where we have conversations with other people. That's on Elik's channel, Sound of Anarchy, and we had an interview with Muhammad. And Muhammad lives in Gaza, in a refugee camp in Gaza. And this is, for me, the first time that I had a serious conversation with a person who lives in Gaza. And I think that this is ridiculous and crazy, since Gaza, for all my life, I lived in a place where Gaza was no more than an hour and a half, 2 hours drive away from me. And the first time that I had an actual serious conversation with a person who lives in Gaza was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we did one, and we're gonna have the second part soon. So
yes, and on my channel we have some thoughts following this conversation that we had, and this is the start. We call this episode a crack in the wall, and for us, we want to widen this crack, and we want to take down the wall, and we want to break the wall, and we want to go over the wall and around the wall, and we want no walls. Sound of anarchy. That also means no walls. Okay? And we want to really speak to Palestinians who live in Gaza, Palestinians who live in the West Bank, Palestinians who live in the diaspora. Okay? Yeah. And Palestinians who live inside the 48 lines. We want to speak to you. And the vision that Muhammad is going to talk about in our next episode. By the way, we couldn't record this episode. We made plans for earlier today
because there was no electricity, because there was no sun in Gaza today.
Yes, it's raining now and it's dark. There's no sun, so we can't have electricity, and we had to cancel the interview because of this.
Crazy.
The second part of the interview, and in the second part of the interview, he will tell us more about the ODSI, the One Democratic State Initiative, which Elik and I are now joining, and we want to promote it because our podcast is called One State Solution. We are anarchists, so we prefer the zero state solution. We have a lot of conversations about this. We prefer the zero state solution, but one is like the lowest number. That's not zero. So let's strive for that first, and not 1 plus weirdness. Okay, let's just have one, and then like see.
Yeah. So We could talk to you guys for forever. And
Yeah, I feel the same.
But I know that there was a song that was promised.
Yeah, you want to do it?
And I would love to hear it. You know, I feel like
log off until you do. It's basically
yes. Daniel and I have been slacking on our songs.
And all of our songs are fucking very silly. Like what you do with music, Elik, the earnestness, the cool fucking darkness, the fact that you play it on viola,
yeah,
which is such a cool melancholy instrument, such a great, you know, it's like
it's
the
sick.
lower register of klezmer, you know.
Yeah.
And your lyrics are earnest, but they're also very wry. And there's a lot of irony to them. I mean, we're setting you up, but we'd love to hear something if you'd like to share it.
Yes, please.
So should we do the genocide song?
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. What's that about?
I would love that song. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Very fun.
Do it with audience participation, right?
Yeah.
Some.
At some point, maybe. Let's see. Like
you will feel the vibe. Okay.
We'll do our best.
The thing is that I always improvise. Like my songs are never fixed, so that's hard.
There's like a general outline, and then it just happens.
Yeah, we just go somewhere. So I'll try.
Cool.
I hope the neighbors here. And
it's a little bit late here.
How just tell me like
do it softly.
Like, is that it's fine?
Oh, it sounds great.
So I've stayed that volume. And it was written not so long after 7th of October, and it was kind of about the mentality of the Israeli society, but I think you guys can relate to it too, like being coming from US and Jewish, you have Zionist friends, so...
Oh, yeah.
Why do I feel so lonely inside? Why do I feel so lonely inside? Why do I feel so lonely inside? 'Cause all of my society is supporting genocide. My father supporting genocide, my brother committing genocide, my uncle demanding genocide, my cousin demanding genocide. Why do I feel so lonely inside? Why do I feel so lonely inside? My society is supporting genocide.
Hello, Elik.
Hi, Mr. Therapist. How are you?
Come, sit down. How are you feeling today?
Not so well, not so well.
Oh no.
I feel a little bit of depression and of anxiety.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Elik.
I feel I cannot fit into my society. Is it them or is it me?
You know, it's all a matter of perspective, Elik. They have their perspective, and you have your perspective. And you have to respect their perspective.
But you know, every time I pick up my phone, I see stuff that no human being should see. You know, like babies.
That's your perspective,
babies crying, mothers dying, burning alive. I don't know how to get out of bed. I don't know how to get the images off my head. And I think, you know, we all have part of it. You know, I think maybe you have part of it as well.
Elik, I am not the subject here. It is
but you're conscripted to the army. You haven't been here for a month.
Elik.
And I don't know what you did there. And I
Elik, this
unsafe.
is your therapy.
I feel a little bit unsafe.
We want to speak about
I feel a little bit... Okay.
Let's speak about you.
About me, yeah.
Okay, Elik. How are you feeling right now?
I feel that for my own subjective, only super subjective feeling, there's a genocide going on.
Elik, we don't use this word here. I told you already. This is a problematic word, okay, Elik? And it's very judgmental. And we talked about how you being judgmental of other people is just causing you pain.
Okay. Oh, why do I feel so lonely inside?
You feel lonely because you're not getting enough exercise.
Why do I feel so lonely inside?
You should just eat a little bit more healthy.
Why do I feel so lonely inside?
Elik, we talked about this. You need to set a schedule. You need to take your life seriously. You start from the body. You start from the here and now. Come back to here, Elik. To now, Elik. Let's breathe. Let's breathe. How do you feel right now? Right here.
But it's happening right now. But it's happening right now. It's happening right now. It's happening right now. It's even happening right now, you know? It's happening right now.
What are you talking about, Elik? What's happening?
The genocide.
We don't use this word here.
Why do I feel so lonely inside?
Elik. Listen.
My society supporting genocide.
You are putting your dark glasses on again. Just put the pink glasses on and everything will look better. Why do I feel so lonely inside? 'Cause all of my society deprived of its morality, and I feel like I know where to hide.
Because you supporting genocide.
I don't know how I can help you, Elik.
Incredible. That is so fucking good.
That is the musical theater we need right now.
Yes, it really is. It really is. But and you know, you talked about like whether or not it's relatable, and it is insanely relatable. It's insanely relatable. I don't know if it at this point is even just just people who have Zionist family members or just Israelis and their families. Like at this point, I know so many people who are not Jewish, not Israeli, don't come from Zionist families, who feel the exact same way because of the sort of ubiquity with which this genocide is just being accepted by layers of society that once were thought to stand for something. And so
I
it's
hope,
like,
you know, that at some point I will sing this song, and when I get to the point when I say it's happening right now, it's not going to be truth.
Yeah.
It's like every time, it's like, and we kind of became like, that's, I feel sometimes that's the horror of it, that
you cannot hold it in your head for so long and actually feel it for so long.
I was wondering if you were also going to say, not only is it happening right now, it's happening right here. Because he was talking about the here and now, but it is happening.
Yeah, right.
It's basically happening right where you are.
Here as well.
You know?
Right.
I was thinking along those lines. You know how on the Hanukkah dreidels they have the 4 letters that spell out Nes Gadol Hayasham, or I guess in your case it's Nes Gadol Hayapo. A great miracle happened there. I'm thinking we need to come up with a new set of dreidels. Pesha Gadol Hayapam.
Wow.
A great crime happened there.
Yeah, it's here, you know, and it's like, you know, when I came back from the States, I felt like this just depression that it's like, it's so close and I don't know what to do about it. And I'm trying, I'm speaking, I'm doing podcasts, I'm demonstration. Like, feels like it's not enough. Nothing is enough.
Can I leave you guys with something as we close? Just an offering to you, Alon, talking about how your whole life you felt like you were on the outs, and that puts you on, some kind of spectrum because you can't keep it in and you can't pretend. And the character you're playing here, Elik, which is yourself, and being told that you're the crazy one. Well, I don't usually do this on this podcast. I don't like to cross the streams, but I did co-write this book called The Myth of Normal with my pops.
Yeah.
My name is there in small font, much smaller font. This is the English version. They fucked up the percentages. I'm supposed to be at 30%. Make
it bigger.
Yeah.
This is on the second to last page of the last chapter. The last chapter is called Unmaking a Myth. And the whole notion of the book, of course, is that what we take to be normal in a society like ours is profoundly unhealthy. As it turns out, it is often individuals who defy conventional normality who are the healthy ones. The psychologist Abraham Maslow made the investigation of self-actualization, which I believe in Hebrew is Hagshama Atzmit.
Yes.
It's always bragging.
Good
his
accent
Hebrew.
and everything.
He's
That
always
was
bragging
that was one of the pillars of the Zionist youth movement I grew up with. Zionism, Judaism, socialism, social justice, and Hagshama Atzmit.
Yes.
And it turns out that if you're really going to actualize yourself, you're going to have to let go of at least one of those.
I just want to point out that mine had one pillar, and it was Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam.
That's nice.
That's all I know.
Tikka masala olam.
Tikka masala olam. Yam Israel chai.
Yeah, as Brianna Wu said.
Yes, Brianna Wu said, Yam Israel.
I am what I am. All right. So the psychologist Abraham Maslow made the investigation of self-actualization, the attainment of authentic satisfaction, not based on external valuations, his life's work. A study of people healthy enough to be self-actualized, he wrote in a widely read paper, revealed that they were not, quote, well-adjusted in the naive sense of approval and identification with the culture. These healthy people, suggested Maslow, had a complex relationship with their much less healthy culture. Neither conformists nor automatically reflexive rebels. Such men and women expressed their unconventionality in ways that kept them true to their inner values, without hostility but not without fight when that was called for. An inner feeling, this is a quote from Maslow, an inner feeling of detachment from the culture was not necessarily conscious, but was displayed by almost all. They very frequently seemed to be able to stand off from it as if they did not quite belong to it. And these are the healthiest, psychologically healthiest people. So by that standard, you guys are showing the world, and certainly showing your own society, which isn't trying to hear it or trying to see it, but it will. It'll need examples like you of what sanity looks like, because it's not built for sanity. So
yeah,
that's just, I hope that gives you, I don't know, something to hold on to and trust in yourself, because you're the normal ones.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. It's
Thank you, guys.
One of my favorite quotes from the Indian philosopher Krishnamurti is, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly ill society." And
Right.
That's right.
I've loved this quote for a long time, and this is just
yeah. I can see why it relates to you, and why you relate to it, and why I relate to it as well. You guys, fantastic talking to you. And
likewise. Thank you so much.
I just want to apologize.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. I want to apologize for
Why do you feel so lonely inside?
for how lonely inside you feel.
You got
For
the bass.
You got a good base.
for all of my bad Israeli accents. And if you want to get back at me, can you just real quick do your best American accent? Yeah.
Wasn't what this is what we were trying to do now.
No,
The
no, go
best American
deeper.
accent?
Do it, yeah.
Well, I go like full American. Like
Yeah,
this is the
there it
best I
is.
got, I think.
Alon, just maybe before we finish,
Pretty
just
good.
like the last, we had an announcement about.
Yes. We want to make a small announcement. Can we use
please.
your platform to do it?
Do it.
Okay.
Use us, baby.
So we were talking about how we're trying to find ways to resist Zionism from inside Palestine. We want to use this fact that we are in Palestine, because as we were talking about, it's hard being in Palestine, it's dangerous being in Palestine, but we want to use it for good. And we don't know how to do it, okay? We must admit this, that we don't know how to do it. But together with a few friends who are also anti-Zionists and also have Israel written on their passport and also have Jewish written on their identity cards, we want to start something. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it's going to be called. We want it to be, we have some thoughts about what kind of thing we want it to be, and we want it to bring healing to this place. And the thing that is going to happen, what date was it? December 1st.
December 1st on channel.
On my channel, The Hebrew Canaanite, we're going to go live, okay? And we're going to talk about what we want to do. And we don't know
what is to be done.
Will say.
You're going to talk about what is to be done. This is all feeling very Leninist here. No,
the thing is that one of the basic principles is that we don't know. The situation is very difficult. It's very dire. And we don't know what needs to be done. And we are modest. We are humble. We don't want to tell anyone what needs to be done. We want this to be a conversation. We want this to be flexible. We want this to be transparent and open. And we feel like the sunlight is a very good, medicine for this place.
Yeah.
To have everything out in the open, and it's also dangerous, but we feel like it's necessary.
Okay.
So this is the way that we want to start it. Just to start it and to have people over and to talk about these things and explain what we were thinking and listen to what the audience thinks. And this is a process.
So
And it will start December 1st.
A YouTube live on your YouTube channel, The Hebrew Canaanite.
Yes, exactly.
And people can show up and get in the chat and build in the conversation and share ideas and
figure out what is to be done.
And feel less lonely inside.
Yes.
Exactly.
I love it. Well,
exactly. So please subscribe to The Hebrew Canaanite to see this live. I need to plug, okay? I need to.
Yeah, please plug.
And please subscribe to Sound of Anarchy, where our podcast Yalla is on, where we will have Matt very soon. We promise.
Hell yeah, dog.
Elik, what do you want to plug?
Please.
And so we said the YouTube and my Instagram. I do a lot of stuff there.
Yes, it's Elik Harpaz.
And I hope to have an album soon of this thing, but it's not out there yet. But it will be promoted on, like, with this song and other songs. So I want to put it in my. And there's also the live session we did in Yahav's channel. Yes. So we will put it in as well.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be Elik's manager for
I'm really bad at
one moment.
I always mess it up.
I got you covered, bro.
Okay.
Elik is an incredible musician.
Yes.
And I think the only reason Elik is not world famous is because he was unfortunate enough to be born in Palestine and to want to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm afraid I don't want it to succeed because then I'm gonna be shot or something. So I always keep not trying to not succeed. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just
trying
an
not
excuse.
to get shot. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just
I don't know, but I feel like Elik should be doing more music, and I'm trying to push as much as I can. And I feel like if more people on the channel wrote comments like, Elik, please, we want to listen to your album, or encourage him to start a head start of like whatever, but make his music reach more people. Please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, we we're gonna put all of the links in our description to all of the channels.
I want to hear "Hey Jewish Brother" banging in every club on Miami Beach this coming spring break.
Yes, and we will help that album reach #1 on the anti-Zionist Jewish iTunes store.
And next time I come,
because Sound of Anarchy is Brat. Oh shit! Fuck. That's gonna backfire. Don't say that.
Not Brat.
No, don't say that.
But yes. Thank you.
Next time we're gonna play together when I come to Brooklyn.
Fuck yes, we are.
Yes, please, please, everyone, and I mean this to all of our Israeli listeners. Please go to Brooklyn. I'm just kidding.
Just go to Brooklyn.
Just
come to the Jewish state.
Come to the
But
Jewish
again
state.
with the slurs. Just because
Sorry,
it says Israel on my
Hebrews.
passport, I need to be discriminated against and humiliated in this fashion.
These goddamn Jews. You really just can't.
Look, man,
make
do you want
any
to be
of
an
them
Israeli or do you want to be an Ishmaeli?
Exactly, dude.
You got two choices.
Yeah.
Well, Ishmael means that the Lord, that God listened to us.
That's true.
I don't know. If there is one, then maybe they
It'd
should
be
listen.
nice to be heard.
Yes.
Speaking of hearing, please hear their podcasts and hear our podcasts like you're doing now and our bonus episodes, patreon.com/badhasbara. And also email at us, badhasbara@gmail.com. All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for listening. And until next time, from the river to the sea.
Never pay for genocidal therapy.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Jumping jacks was us. Push-ups was us. Krav Maga us. All karate us. Taking Molly